Hello, beautiful people. Hope you're all doing well. Let me know if you can see and hear me. And if you are watching, please give me a like. And feel free to comment away. Just make sure that the comments are polite and kind and no trolling. If I don't mind being asked questions about difficult subjects. That's all fine with me. But if you can ask them politely, and I am more than happy to answer questions, as long as they are, asked in a decent way. I'm open for discourse about the topics that I talk about, because obviously we need that, we need to have that interaction so that we all learn from each other. So let me know if you can hear me. Hopefully I have managed to fix the Wi-Fi problems. I had to reboot my router. It decided it had had enough, and so I rebooted it because it wasn't picking up my phone, it wasn't picking up my other phone, it wasn't picking up anything in the house. So I rebooted it and it seems to be working now. So let me know if it starts buffering, although I should see it and I should pick it up. I was originally going to go live at 6 p.m, but then I was watching Regan Elite's show this morning, and I saw that he's going live at 6 p.m. So I don't want to, go over his stuff. Hey, Regan. Hi. I was just saying that I saw this morning, I put the live for 6 p.m, but then I saw this morning on your show that you're going live at 6 p.m. So I thought, okay, I will go live before you, because obviously I watch your channel. So, and anybody who doesn't watch Regan, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Is it Regan Elite or Regan Elite? So would it be a double E or an A? I'm not sure. Hi, Draca. Lovely to see you, my darling. Hope all is good. Looking forward to La Mas. I'm not sure where you're going to be for La Mas, but hopefully you'll enjoy it. So let me know if it starts buffering. Okay, thanks, Regan. Yeah, let me know if it starts buffering, because we had problems the last live stream I did and the live stream before that. I was going to go live on Sunday, but with the extreme heat that was being experienced over in Liverpool, I was with my mum over the weekend. Happy 88th birthday to my mum, by the way. She turned 88, and her flat is so hot, so hot, that I was just sat there melting into the seat. And of course, the seats are leather, so I was just like a puddle of sweat. Really, gross. Hi, Mithril, lovely to have you here. Hi, Pete, lovely to see you. So yeah, by the time I drove home and got home, I was so tired and exhausted from the heat, because me and my mum watched Gladiator on Sunday afternoon, the second one, Gladiator 2, and we both thoroughly enjoyed it. And I was nearly falling asleep, so I ended up having a coffee to keep myself awake. And I don't normally drink coffee, but I thought, I've got this 2.5-hour drive to do, so I better sort of stay awake. So yeah, I've been looking at a mini air conditioning unit to get my mum for this cold weather, for this hot weather, because she was really battling. But we went out for dinner on Saturday evening, sorry. And we went to a really nice restaurant in Ainsdale, which is one that we've gone to for years for celebrations. And hi, Lana, lovely to see you. Hope all is well down under. So we went out for dinner, which was lovely. Unfortunately, I wasn't feeling very well. My stomach decided to play up. But on the way back from the restaurant, which is only a short walk from the restaurant to my mum's flat, because she can't walk very far. She's got one of those walkers with the wheels on. And so coming back, she got the balloon, the happy birthday balloon, tied onto her walker. And so many people in the street, because there's a load of bars and restaurants and everybody sits outside, and everybody was wishing a happy birthday and asking her how old she was. And 88's a good age. My mum was alive through World War II, so she's seen everything. Before I go on, I just want to say thank you to everybody who has donated. You know who you are. I really appreciate it. If you do want to donate, the link to the GoFundMe page is in my description box on my channel that tells you all about who I am and what I do. And also I want to say thank you to new subscribers. I'm now over 700 subscribers. I know I'm a small channel, but I really appreciate every single subscriber that comes along. So guys, ask questions, have a nice chat in the chat, talk about whatever you want to. Keep it polite if you wouldn't mind. But if you do want to have a discussion about some of the things that I talk about and ask me questions, please do. Please keep it polite, because I know I sort of tend to rub people up the wrong way with my views on feminism and misogyny. Also, my views on the right wing and politics can sometimes upset people as well. But I want to start off, so thank you again to those people who have donated to the channel. I am going to be setting up a PayPal account. I closed my PayPal account years ago because I was hacked. I received a bill for something like 200 quid for some maintenance work on a vehicle that I didn't even own. And so, yeah, it was like, no, I'm closing my PayPal account. But I believe that it's safer now, so I'll do that. I also still need to set up a email account for the channel. I don't want to give out my personal email account on here because I already get too much spam on there. So I'll talk about, I get my groceries delivered by Tesco, and the reason being is I don't like people, as in, you know, going into a shop and there being lots of people around me. I have high anxiety. I have borderline personality disorder, and I have bipolar disorder. So I've got like quite a lot of issues, and shopping for me is a nightmare. Now, sometimes I can go in when it's really quiet. So late at night when it's really quiet, I can go in. But my big shop, I don't want to, you know, have to, because I buy like 4 bags of cat litter, you know, the big bags of cat litter, the big bags of cat biscuits, and the big boxes of cat food, you know, cat meat. So it's heavy stuff, and I don't want to carry it and backwards and forwards from the car and so on. So I have my shopping delivered. Now, I often eat steak. Yes, I know I have all the issues with, you know, the fact that we eat too much meat, and you know, I wish that I tried to be vegetarian. I did try. It didn't last long. It lasted 6 weeks. But I do enjoy my meat too much. I'm sorry. I understand those who are vegetarians and those who are vegans. I really admire you, and I understand why you are. Unfortunately, because of the exercise that I do, I need protein, and you know, I just enjoy it. I'm sorry to all those who don't eat meat. So I always order steak. Now I order a piece of rump steak, and it's 250 grams, and I cut it into 3 pieces, so it does me 3 meals. Because of my hernia, I can only eat small amounts of food, so like 30 grams of food is the most I can eat at a time. And I always put on my steak order, please make sure that the piece has the least amount of fat and the least amount of marbling. So it arrived, and I looked at it, I thought, oh, that looks good, you know, chosen well. And then when I turned it over, it was just one great big block of fat. So I cut the fat off and I weighed it. 40 grams of that steak was fat, and the other 200 grams was meat. So my cats have had a field day today. I cooked some of the fat for them, and they'll get more tomorrow. So I've got a complaint to make to Tesco. I don't really want to, but you know, my sister actually works at Tesco, and she does the picking for the orders. And she's had, you know, the drivers compliment her on how she packs her, you know, her baskets and everything. And I can imagine that, because my sister's quite fastidious in her work and what she does, and she's perhaps a bit OCD. You know, she should come really and clean my house. I'm not OCD at all. So I know that if I ordered a piece from my sister, it would be as I wanted, or there would be a substitution. Anyway, so that's actually upset me a lot because it's not cheap. You know, I buy the cheapest of the, I mean, like the Tesco Finest is what, £8, £10. So this one is like £4 or £5 because I think that's expensive. But, you know, it's 3 meals for me. It is 3 meals. So today I had the small piece of steak, and then a big salad with it. So, you know, lots of leaves, lots of vegetables, all raw, and some vinegar and some salt and some pepper and a little bit of mayo. So Lana says she does click and collect. Yeah, I've done that before, but I like it to be delivered, because then I don't have to carry it far into the house. And also for me to go and collect it, I would have to drive to another town. The cost would be the same on petrol as it is on, you know, paying for the delivery. That's my justification. And also, I figure that me driving my car to Tesco is, you know, polluting the atmosphere, whereas the driver is delivering to, you know, 20, 30 houses. So it's only one vehicle. That's, you know, instead of 30 vehicles. And plus as well, there are times when I'm poorly and I don't get out of bed because of my depression and because of my illnesses. And, you know, the biggest issue I have is with people. So Terry, hi Terry, lovely to see you. When I go shopping, I prefer self-service as it's more convenient for me for many reasons. I know a lot of lefties and socialists don't like self-service, but for me personally, I just prefer that. You know, I use self-service and I use the tills. It depends on the queue at self-service and the queue at the tills. So normally if I go, I'm just getting a basket, you know, with maybe bread, milk and, you know, chocolate or a treat for myself. I normally go if I've done a long run and I'm tired and I want to get something convenient to eat. So yeah, I do like the self-service when I don't have to speak to anybody. I completely understand that. And, you know, you're doing your own thing. But I also understand the need to have people's jobs being at the tills and that we are turning into this cashless society. And, you know, there's so many positive and negative things about all of these issues that I just sort of stand in the middle of this. I can't, you know, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another, isn't it? You know, you sort of, it's like the fact that we are now a cashless society. You know, it's only when my card, I had those problems last week or the week before with my card where there was fraudulent activity on my account, so they had to cancel my card and I had to get a new one. And so anyway, I downloaded the wallet app and I used that. And I didn't even know that it worked. I didn't even know that that was a thing. You know, this is how technologically, you know, minded I am, not at all. And so I did use that because I didn't have a card, which was a good thing. But again, cash, you know, people need cash, small businesses and so on. Where was I going to the other week? And they said, oh yeah, it's a pub that I sometimes go to in town. It's they have live music on and it's sort of rock music and that sort of thing. And they put out an email saying, you know, a Facebook post saying, you know, we do accept cards, but if you could give us cash, because obviously if they're using cards and I'm buying a water or a Coke, you know, that money is just, they're losing that money. And I completely understand. When I used to work at Body, Mind and Spirit fairs and I never had a card machine, I would always only ask for cash. Lana, I don't have a car and I'm lucky 2 supermarkets within 800 meters. Oh, Lana, that's brilliant. That's brilliant, isn't it? Billy, hi, my love. Evening badgers and hedgehog. When I was running last week, I don't know if I said on one of my lives or one of my videos, it was one of the really hot days. And as I come back down the track, it goes, so the single path, the footpath that goes up to the woods and then goes on and beyond, it goes all the way up to Whitwell Woods. And then as I get down, there's fields and there's a double track that the tractors use. And then it's like a sort of snicket between the houses. And then I'm onto the other path, the other footpath on the top of the dam, and then the footpath to my house. And public footpath to my house, there was a little baby hedgehog. Oh, it was so cute. I think I did talk about this, and he was out in the daytime, probably looking for water. So sad. And if I'd have had a bottle of water with me, I would have got a leaf, you know, and put some water in for him. But my bottle had electrolytes in it, so I didn't want to give it electrolytes because I don't know if hedgehogs are allergic to that. So today I only took water with me. I didn't see the hedgehog. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. But I stood over the hedgehog while little hedgehog went into the undergrowth under the hedges, and he made some cute little noises. Very cute. I love hedgehogs too, Lana. I do. And Pete's put a load of hedgehogs there. Lana, I do love deliveries though. Midwinter has been bad. Mood being down. I want to feel special, so I ordered a dozen donuts. Yeah. You know, I get you. Winter is awful, and I know, just for everybody else, Lana is down in the southern hemisphere, so they are in winter at the moment, midwinter. They've just had midwinter, and I lived in South Africa, and it's horrible. I personally hate winter here in the northern hemisphere, and I don't know the latitude and longitude that you're on, Lana, but you know, we're so high up north, the days become so short that it's awful. Absolutely not one of my favorite things. So yes, it's never a bad thing to spoil yourself. Right, so I just want to go through a couple of articles that I found while I was scrolling through stuff during the day. Just want to make sure that I've covered everything that I was going to cover at the beginning. Sorry guys, I have made a list of stuff to talk about on my pewter. Okay, right, so the first thing I want to talk about is this is a really funny story. However, it's not just funny, it's actually quite scary. So it's all about personal hygiene, and it's men's personal hygiene. Now, some of you may be aware of this, some not. There is this thing on Reddit. I use Reddit because there's a lot of relationship articles and things about narcissists and, you know, toxic relationships and so on, which is one of my main sort of focuses for my videos. But this is something that's come up recently, and I find it just, I don't know whether to be grossed out by it or if it's hilarious or not. Anyway, this is an article from, what is the Slate magazine. And it is dated, what's the date here? May the 17th, 2024. But this is not just old news, this is current news as well. So men's hygiene is in a very sorry state. Reddit has disabused me of any notion that men know how to clean themselves. Now, I just want to make this very clear, not all men, okay? I think a lot of this has to do with the younger generations, and I think part of it is down to the red pill mind, the toxic manosphere, and perhaps even looking at the black pillars here because of this is disgusting. So just putting out a warning there. This is quite gross and disgusting. Here's a terrible fact I wish I could unlearn. Countless men, otherwise respectable husbands and fathers and brothers and boyfriends, perhaps even yours, never bother to wash between the cheeks when they bathe. Now, this is not just when they bathe, but also when they have gone for a poop. They're not wiping their backsides. I've seen quite a lot of videos on TikTok of women, girlfriends, wives. Yeah, you've landed on a moment. Sorry, Stephen. Hi to you. And I'll read out those comments in a minute. But so this I saw this video earlier. This girlfriend was saying, you know, she's found her partner that she'd been with for a year has just recently moved in. And she noticed that there was a skid mark on his side of the bed, on the sheets. So she sort of thought, oh, well, just a one-off, maybe he, broke wind and it just was, was a little bit more than breaking wind. And then she noticed that there were skid marks on the towels after he'd showered and skid marks on his underpants. And so she asked him, what the issue was. And he says, no, wiping your bum is gay. So for some reason, some men are connecting the dots to anything to do with your backside is gay. No. I mean, obviously it's not. Where has this come from? Does anybody know where this has come from? I'd love to know where this thought, this idea has actually come from. Anyway, she then asked him, would you mind wiping? And he said no. So she dumped him, rightly so. I would have done the same thing. She said, I can't stand the smell. You smell of poop. And he got all huffy and had a big temper tantrum and was like, you're doing this over me not wiping my bottom. I'm not changing for you. If you can't handle me, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, well, that's the point. I don't want you in my life if you can't do something like that. Regan, no, I don't think they do care about hygiene. I think that some of them, I think it is this belief that anything to do with their bottom is, gay. I do think that they perhaps have some form of homophobia, that they, just don't want to do that. And it does make me think, to be honest, because talking about that part of the body, when men and women have smex, there's the reverse girl position. And if a woman didn't wipe her bottom, I'm pretty sure the man would have something to say about that. And then another sort of part to this is that some men stand up to wipe their bottoms. Well, at least they're wiping. But sitting on the toilet to wipe, your cheeks spread wider, so you actually get cleaner. And this woman had sort of been thinking this because this woman whose boyfriend, the boyfriend that she dumped, he didn't have any toilet paper in his bathroom. And she thought, oh, maybe he was using wipes. And clearly not. So, you just think, what the... So I'm going to carry on with this article. And that's if they get around to bathing at all. Plenty of men rarely do. I don't know where these men are. I really don't. But I can say that, and, no names here. I've never mentioned the name of my exes. But one of them, I was doing the washing and there was a skid mark and I pointed it out, and there was never another skid mark after that. Never. So, I'm pretty sure that some of us get caught at times. I completely understand that. That is a perfectly normal thing. But for this poor woman, every time there were skid marks in his pants, skid marks on the sheets, skid marks on the towels. And she was like thinking, well, I don't want to sit on my couch because if I sit down, I don't know if I'm sitting in poo or not. Neither are men cleaning up when they use the toilet. Not the seat, not the floor, not where the sun don't shine. Many men aren't brushing their teeth. They're wearing dirty clothes, sleeping on dirty sheets, and eating from dirty dishes. Some men are peeing in the sink. More than you'd guess are pooping in the shower. As a guy who long fell in with the cult of the Japanese washlet bidet, I'll concede that my expectation of the next fella's nethers may once have been a tad over-Aussie. Not anymore, not after my years on Reddit. So, yeah, it is a thing. And another part of this that I read was, well, you know, boys when they wash are told to, you know, wash their hair and then soap on the body. But are they told to wash those bits? I don't know. And as a woman, you know, we have our menstrual cycle, and inevitably you will end up with some sort of mess. It is unfortunate. It happens. And, you know, so women are very fastidious about washing down there and keeping clean down there. I mean, there are specific soaps for that area. There's deodorant for that area. So, yeah. A woman 29 wrote that after moving in with her 33-year-old boyfriend and baby daddy, she realised he didn't brush his teeth and showered so infrequently that he somehow smelled like cat food. These things she could almost live with. She didn't even really mind the stains she found in his underwear and his pants, but a skid mark on the bed, she wrote. She's got children with this man. He had a dirty bum. It just makes you wonder, doesn't it? It really makes you wonder. Another woman said, how do I talk to him without embarrassing him about it? Well, I'd say, you know, embarrass him. Embarrass him. It's, and another thing to point out here, and again, I'm not saying all men, okay? So I know, you know, not all men, but a lot of men don't want to change babies' nappies. I understand why. Babies' nappies stink. I know whenever I've had a baby on my knee, I unfortunately don't have kids due to many reasons. But when Mum, she needs changing, or he needs changing, I'm not doing it, you know, like, but a lot of blokes don't want to do that. So you would think that they wouldn't want to see skiddies in their pants. And another thing is, like, if a person goes to the toilet and they have a poop, do they check that there's a skid mark in the toilet? You know, sometimes I don't want to go to that. So, right, let me read some of the comments. I can see there's been quite a few comments on this topic, and say hello to some of the other people who've joined. Bear with me. Mithril. I'll never forget early in my taxing career, I picked up a customer who had 6 tiny baby hedgehogs in a padded makeup bag. She was taking them to rescue and they were adorable. Oh. Oh. Hi, Stephen. Said good evening to you already. Yeah, Stephen, bamboozled. Just why? Lana, something very disturbing right here. I do not about the backside thing, but just one generation behind me, the men believe deodorant is gay. Wow. 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 Martin. Hi, Martin Harrow. Lovely to see you. Did I say hello, Billy? I'm not sure if I did. Hello, Billy Kershaw. Mithril, I have a bath every 2 days. It used to be my quiet reading place, but grandson and small dog have turned it into a carnival. I have to, when I have a bath, leave, or a shower for that matter, leave the bathroom door open because of the cats. There's carpet on the outside of the bathroom, and it's fake linoleum wood stuff on the inside, and the cats will dig underneath the bathroom door and pull up all the carpet. And I have had one or two of them at different times jump up on the side of the bath and fall in, and then jump straight back out and run sopping wet through the house. Because some of them like to do roly-polies in the bath. And I have one who likes to do roly-polies in the shower. But normally when I'm in the shower, they wander off because they know it's water. They don't want to get close to the water. So yeah, I understand that. When I have a bath, I like my soak, and because I shower more than bath. I do like a good soak in the bath, but I do a lot of exercise, so for me showering is a lot quicker. And then I could, like the hot weather that we've had the other day, I just put the water on cold. I'm like, okay, it's cold at first, but then it's fine. Lana, you'll smell them before you see them. Exactly. Stephen, not just because I'm a gay, but because I'm a gay man. Cleanliness is very important. Yes. I use wet wipes in between cleaning. Glad I don't know guys this hygienically lazy or ignorant. Yeah, I also use wipes. You know, for me, I have a thing about being clean. And my mum and dad told me that when I was a kid, if I had a pooey nappy, I would cry and scream until they changed it straight away. I did not like that feeling. So obviously I still don't like that feeling. And yes, I do exactly the same. So, you know, never put the wipes down the loo though, because they block up the system and they don't decompose. Why would anybody do any of that? I don't know, Martin. I really don't know. Stephen, no, number 2 in shower. Yeah, Trip, I can't even let my toothbrush bristles touch the sink. Men are pooing in the shower. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've got, you know, I changed my toothbrush. I used to have an electric one, but it was just, the battery would drain so quickly, so I went back to manual. And I've got, you know, the interdental brushes. I have 3 different sizes, and they're all there lined up for me to use, you know, in the places that I need to use them in my teeth, because they're all different gap sizes. Because I can't stand food being stuck between my teeth. But yeah, I'm lucky that I live on my own, so any mess that is made is my own mess. Not litter trays. Okay, I have 12 litter trays, but with the weather like this, they go out, so it's not too bad. And when I see a mound of moss or dirt in the garden, I'm like, leave that. That's poo on there. Just leave that. Just having a look here. One of the main reasons I don't have any feline friends yet. Yeah, you know, I have seen quite a few who have been trained to go over the toilet and flush the change. So it is possible that that could be done. You know, it is possible. Something that you may want to do if you do have cats with litter trays and you have to clean out the poop. I have a scoop, but I also wear gloves, rubber gloves, you know, the hospital doctor ones that you can get. And I have most of the litter trays are downstairs in a downstairs loo, which is sort of like an added on bit to the house. It's not a nice room. So, you know, it's there for them. So I put the fan on in there. It's got a fan in there. So I put the fan on so that it keeps the poop away. But again, it's changing the litter trays often. And then I spray them and wipe them down. And then in summer, they get a proper wash outside. So, yeah, it's something that I understand with the cat poop and cleaning out the cat poop. And especially when they do the poo dash coming back from the loo, it's like, oh. And it's always the same one who does it. Always the same one. Sorry, just reading some more of the comments. Are men regressing back into forest apes? Well, Trip, you know, it could well be that this alpha male thing that they have, that they think that, you know, it's marking their territory. I said to somebody today on a post about I think it was about Donald Trump, or it was about the Tates. And I said, you know, the Tates lie as much as Donald Trump. And the guy said to me, well, when has Donald Trump lied? And I responded with, well, every time he opens his mouth, it's a lie. But also, the first lie that he told that didn't happen within the first day was the ending of the Ukraine-Russia war. So the guy didn't come back to me after that. But then further on in the conversation, I don't know how it got to this guy saying, oh, you know, I said something about critical thinking and cognitive dissonance and so on and so on. And he came back to me and said, well, you've got cognitive dissonance and aren't able to critically think if this, that, and the next thing. And so I responded saying, hang on, you think you're an alpha male and you follow who you call two alpha males, therefore that makes you a beta male. No response. Let's go back to these comments. Mithril, I'm 58 and a grandparent whose grandson lives with me. I've changed many, many nappies. Well done, you. Let's have a look. Forest apes have ways of keeping their backsides clean. Fecal matter would attract all sorts of parasites. Absolutely, Mithril. Yes, they do. Leaves and wiping on the ground, you know. I mean, cats clean their own bums, which is gross, but at least they keep them clean. Martin Harrow, don't even put flushable wipes in the loo. Yeah. Mithril, my teeth are all destroyed after 50 years of oral steroids for my asthma. Oh, that's awful. That's awful. I have my daily steroid inhaler thing, and I use it and then brush my teeth and gargle and stuff. My chemist actually asked me if I do that the other week, because after I'd had that horrible cellulitis on my ankle from those insect bites, I started with oral thrush, because antibiotics always do that, especially the strong ones. And he said to me, you know, do you use an inhaler? I'm like, yeah, I do. I said, but I clean my inhalers. You know, I've got one of the spacers, and so I clean that inhaler as well. I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that I've got cats and their fur and dander gets absolutely everywhere. But yeah, I can understand that with your teeth. I mean, my teeth are not in the best of condition, but mine are from smoking. So, you know, that was my own fault. Stephen, my luck ended up with a totally docile cat. Nonetheless, I still want one or two. You know, some cats are docile. But if you are going to get a cat, please, please, please go to a rescue centre and get a rescue cat, because they need all the love they can get. My felines do their business outdoors unless they're ill, but they have the option to go indoors always. Yeah, my one cat, Bracken, he's passed now, bless him, my baby boy, my big baby boy. And he had hypothyroidism and liver disease and all sorts of things. He was old. And so I had to put puppy pads all over the house for him, because he couldn't make it to the toilet. So he started off with him peeing on things, so then puppy pads, and then he started pooing on them as well. And it was just like, well, he's my baby, you know, so I was always constantly cleaning up after him. Poor little boy. I miss him. He was my big baby. He used to sleep with me, and we used to cuddle every night. He'd sleep on his side, and I'd just cuddle him. Neighbourhood cats keep pooping in our veg patch. I can't eat whatever is growing there. Orange peels. Orange peels. Cats do not like oranges. They do not like the smell of oranges. So orange peels down on top of the soil. They also don't like the smell of onions. So onions are very good at also collecting you know, germs and that from the air. So maybe cutting onions in half and putting them there as well. It's just a thought. It might work, it might not. But to stop strays coming into the garden, I have used orange peel. Absolutely go down to the cat rescue. Brilliant. Lemon and limes. Yeah, that's another one, Stephen. Any of these sort of the fruits that are very strong smelling citrus fruits. I'm ashamed of the fact that it's my first non-rescue dog after 7 rescues. You know what? You've had 7 rescues. You are forgiven. You'll give those a try. Yeah. All you can do is try, you know, and if it works, it works. Love is love, Miss Frill. Absolutely. Hi, Elle. Happy birthday for tomorrow. Everybody, please wish Elle a happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful day. So now the next story I want to get onto, oh my goodness, where is time going? The next story I want to get onto, it's actually a few years old now. It's from 2018, but because I'm going to Bloodstock in August, and Wacken Rock Festival, the heavy metal festival in Germany, is part of the same sort of franchise, if you like. So Wacken happens, I think it's the weekend before Bloodstock or 2 weekends before Bloodstock. So they happen at the same time. A lot of the bands that play at Wacken play at Bloodstock, and, you know, it's sort of they're part of their tour. 2 elderly men sneak out of nursing home to attend heavy metal festival. I think that's absolutely awesome. I do exactly the same thing. You're never too old to rock on. 2 elderly men managed to slip away from their nursing home in Germany to attend the Wacken Open Air, the largest heavy metal festival in the world. According to Idaho police, the pair were eventually found Friday at 3 a.m. local time at the festival after their retirement home in Dithmarschen reported them missing. World police told Deutsche Welle the men were found disoriented and dazed. Oh, I hope they had a brilliant time. The metalheads were apparently reluctant to leave the 4-day festival in Wacken. They had to be escorted home with a taxi and a patrol car as a precaution, police said. Festival organisers didn't specifically address the senior daredevils, but their official Twitter account made sure to give a shout out to elderly fans because you're never too old to rock. I think that that's absolutely brilliant. I really, really do think that that's amazing. That just popped up and I'm like, oh, when I am that age, yeah, I hope that I'm still rocking out to metal. I really do. I think that my generation, I'm Gen X, so I think that there are some of you here who are Gen X, and I know that there are some older, some younger, but I do think that a lot of my generation, when we go into a home in our later years, we're going to end up, because a lot of them now, even now, play music from the war era. My mum likes 80s music. You know, she likes to listen to Queen and the Eurythmics and Depeche Mode, and, you know, she's 88. And she likes Elvis Presley as well, but she doesn't want to listen to war era music, not constantly. So when I get to that age, I hope that they play some Metallica and some other heavier music. You'll be around for tomorrow. Well, you know what? Have a week birthday. That's what I do. If it's my birthday, I make sure it's my birthday for the week. You won't forget Martin, because we will all be wishing Elle happy birthday in the morning. Steve Coogan and Rob Bryson need to make that into a film. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, I take it. I did promote the Overkill birthday wishes towards Diz, so I bring it on myself. You did. Martin, I'm 58 and still ride BMXs. It's a good exercise, and they're not kids' bikes. They're not kids' bikes. I absolutely agree. I run, you know. I'm going to Bloodstock. I'm 56, and I'm going to Bloodstock this year. Granted, I don't drink anymore, so, well, sometimes I do, but very rarely. And I actually messaged my friend and I said to him, because I'm taking a friend of mine and his girlfriend in the car, and I said, do you think they'll mind if I have a run every morning? Because they do have showers at the concert. So I thought, well, then I can run and shower and then get dressed for the day, you know, because I don't mind paying that extra bit for a proper shower. I think that's the thing, when you get into your 50s, it's like, I'm not going to wear the same clothes all weekend. I need clean clothes. I've got a massive suitcase that I take with me. It's got wheels on it. Because I have to have different clothings. I can't, you know. The worst thing about the music festivals, though, is the toilets. And luckily, where we camp, they have the compostable ones, which are far better, because you take a scoop of sawdust to put over the poop, so it doesn't smell as bad. Mithril, I was going to an over 50s club. Their idea of music and games was insane. It would have been good for the over 80s. I know. I get you. I do. I think times have changed, you know. I still think I'm 25 in my head. I look in the mirror and I'm like, no, you're not 25 anymore. But I feel 25 most days, when my knees and my hips aren't hurting. So I don't know if you've seen this article. This is from the 3rd of the month, and I only just picked up on this yesterday. Another one that I picked up on yesterday. Nigel Frogage labels same-sex marriage law wrong. And he says he thought it was wrong to introduce it. This is an interview that he did on LBC. Somebody else may have already covered this story. I don't know, but I must have missed this at some stage. But Farage has labelled same-sex marriage legislation wrong in a bizarre LBC phone-in show. The Reform leader joined presenter Ferrari to take calls on an array of topics, from the NHS to the economy, but when asked about same-sex marriage, listeners were left shocked when he revealed his position. It comes after Farage was caught echoing Donald Trump's rhetoric in a bid to woo voters in time for the next election. Asked whether he supported same-sex marriage, the Clacton MP, who's never there, said, "It's a settled issue. I didn't support it. I thought it was wrong to introduce it to the public without even putting it in a manifesto." Why should it be put in a manifesto? He would have wanted to have a referendum on that, I'm sure. And, you know, the older generations would have it would have been the inevitable 52-48, you know, vote. But I think as the generations become younger, when I say younger, I mean we get older, and, you know, as time marches on, younger generations are more accepting of these things. And, you know, my generation was accepting of gay people, whereas the generations before them weren't. And, you know, we're accepting of trans people. We're accepting of so many different diverse people. I mean, my mum, it was funny, she said to me, "That woman over there's got tattoos all over her." I said, "So?" She said, "Well, it doesn't look right." I said, "Well, it's her choice. If she wants to." My mum's 88, so, you know, very conservative life. But, you know, tattoos are a personal thing. I think that if a person wants to put tattoos all over their body and their face and have body mods done, good for them. Good for them. Be who you want to be. Don't let society dictate what you should be and shouldn't be. I actually want a tattoo on my forehead, just a crescent moon. It's a symbol that we use in witchcraft, and it sort of is like a marriage to the goddess. You know, you are dedicating your life to the goddess. Let's have a look at some more comments. Stephen, 50s is the new 30s and 60s is the new 40s. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you that age is just a number, except when somebody's making money from it. Yeah. People think I'm 42 tomorrow. Well, change that round. You're 24. You're 24, L. Martin, definitely joints that remind you of age. Yeah, for me, it's my, at the moment, it's my knees and it's the running, and I need to build up my quads, top of my thighs. They need to have some work. You know, I need to build up the strength in them so that my knees don't hurt so much. But it's like any exercise that you do. You know, you're putting stress onto the body, but I'd rather have that and possibly have a knee replacement later in life than not be able to run. You like the cult 21 but feel 99 sometimes. I think we all do, you know, I think we all feel like, you know, old on some days. The Tower Bridge Village Pump Festival is great for that sort of thing. Proper shower blocks, really inclusive and very family friendly. It also has great music from folk rock to much more traditional. That's brilliant. Oh, Trowbridge, sorry, not Tower Bridge, Trowbridge. Where is that, Mithril? There are so many music festivals, but for me, if I'm going to go to a festival and camp an entire weekend, it's got to be worth it. And the lineup for Bloodstock this year is awesome. I'll actually just call that up quickly on Google. Bloodstock 25. Full lineup. Oh, and a lot of these names can't read because they're death metal bands. Can't read them. So let's have a look. Oh, I can download a brochure now. So the headliners are Trivium, Machine Head and Gojira. So 3 awesome bands. Then next to headlines, Emperor. Not my cup of tea, but I watch them. Lacuna Coil, one of my favourite female vocal metal bands. And then Lord of the Lost on the Sunday, which is the band that I'm actually going to see. I've seen them twice before in other places, but I absolutely love their music. It's more of a goth metal kind of thing. Then we've got the Black Dahlia Murder, Orange Goblin, Kubla Khan, Creeper, Sears France, August Burns Red, Me That Man, Cataclysm, Static X, obviously not with Wayne because he unfortunately passed away, Obituary, All for Metal, Breed 77, 3 Inches of Blood, and a whole lot more. Fear Factory, Ministry, as I said, no, I didn't say Ministry, did I? I said Machine Head, Harriet, Warbringer, Cage Fight, Flotsam and Jetsam, Paleface, Swiss, Rivers of Nihil, just so many different acts. And then they have what they call the New Blood stage as well, which is where a whole load of new metal bands, they do Battle of the Bands around England, and a whole load of new metal bands play to win, and then they're sort of showcased on the New Blood stage. So it's always worth going there as well. And then, of course, there's the Sophie Lancaster stage. We have a day at Bloodstock where everybody wears pink for Sophie Lancaster. In her remembrance. Sophie Lancaster, those of you who don't know, was a goth girl that was unalived by a group of boys who didn't, felt threatened by goth, and her boyfriend at the time was also badly injured and she was unalived. So we keep that alive at the Sophie Lancaster stage, and then the main stage is the Ronnie James Dio stage. Ronnie James Dio from Rainbow, and obviously his own solo stuff. And then there is also a Lemmy tent. It's the beer tent. I think it used to be the Hobgoblin tent, but I think now they call it the Lemmy tent. So you can go and get your JD and Coke there. So yeah, it's a really good festival, and believe it or not, and I know this sounds weird because you would think, I mean, it's like there's obviously way more men there than there are women, but I have never experienced anything untoward happening from the heavy metal community. Never. If you're in a mosh, if you're in a pit and you fall over, they will pick you up. If somebody is, feeling ill, somebody will help them. There's the Samaritans that are there to help people. There's the hospital tent, which I had to attend the last time I was there because I was very overweight at the time, and I had I've got COPD, suffered with my breathing. The day was incredibly hot. I thought I was dying, so they took me to the hospital tent. So yeah, it's I've just had a message from my friend, and he says they're £4 for the showers last time. So yeah, that's not too bad. I can do that for the running and the Bloodstock. I think it'll be quite fun actually to go run around the arena a couple of times. Maybe people will sponsor me. Who knows? But I've got a run in September, on September the 14th, and I've got 3 weekends in August. I think it's 3 weekends in a row in August where I'm away. And so Bloodstock is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So that's like an entire week that I miss training. So I need to do my training. Let's have a look. Yes, just to remind everybody that Regan is going live at 6 p.m. I shall be finishing in the next 5 minutes, so you can all head over to Regan's show and watch him there. Oh, that Trowbridge one is near Bath. Okay. Sheep on Drugs, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant band. Brilliant band. Love their stuff. Absolutely love industrial metal. Love it. Love it. 15 Minutes of Fame. That was the big hit, I think. Sorry, this has just jumped. It's a metal thing, which it's trendy clubs where you get problems. It is. It is. Definitely is. I've never known, you know, I've been to metal clubs my whole life. I've been to metal gigs my whole life, and not once have I experienced anything untoward. Mithril, I remember Sophie Lancaster, Simon Armitage's play Black Roses had me sat in the car bawling my eyes out when they played it on Radio 4. Yeah. Yeah. Bless her. If you haven't seen it, they did do a... let me find it quickly before I close off for the evening. They did do a show, I can't remember on which channel it was. Was it, I think it was a dramatization, you know. Let's have a look. Yes, it was called Unalived for Being Different, with the actual M word being used. Directed by Paul Andrew Williams, based on the 2007 unaliving of Sophie Lancaster in the UK. I think she was from Leeds area, wasn't she? Yeah, they were assaulted by drunken youths in a skateboard park. And I've watched it, and yeah, it's just, I've been, you know, shouted at from cars, Moshe. You think that's an insult? It really isn't an insult. Yes, I am a mosher. Yeah, I've been shouted at and called all sorts of names because of the way I dress. I mean, obviously, I'm still wearing my running gear because I'm hoping to go and get another quick kilometre in after the live, but it started raining again. If it doesn't stop, I shall have to go and train on my cross trainer for 20 minutes. Hi, Validate, lovely to see you. Sorry, my love, you've just joined, and I am going to be heading off in a couple of minutes, but lovely for you to join. So, yeah, I think that we all have differences, don't we? Every single one of us. And I think that people on the left of politics have more acceptance of those things than people on the right. There are a couple of other stories that I wanted to talk about today, but I'll leave those until Thursday. Now, I did used to go live on a Friday. I've decided not to, because there are so many live streams on a Friday that people want to watch from all our amazing content creators on YouTube. And I just think, you know what? Credit to all of them. But otherwise, we'd be out watching YouTube all day on a Friday. I mean, there's Politics Social, then there's The Agenda with Phil and Graham. Then we've got Daily Blase with Darren. There's All Shorts, he goes live. I think Aid Thompson goes live. Max Roversphere goes live. Then there's the Politics Social pub night thing that goes live. So yeah, it's just so many lives on a Friday night. And then I'm going to do Sundays at 6 p.m. as well. So it'll be 5 p.m. on Tuesdays, 6 p.m. on Thursdays. I don't think anybody else goes live at 6 p.m. on a Thursday. And then 6 p.m. on a Sunday. So, yes, she was from near you in Accrington, yeah. Oh, Barcup, not Aki, okay. So yeah, cheers everybody. Appreciate it for the company, guys. Catch all of you soon. Bye for now. Oh, Val's your best friend forever. That's wonderful, El. Val, thank you for joining. I hope you do come back. Would be nice. If you are not a subscriber, please subscribe. If you have enjoyed the video, please give it a like. It would really help with the algorithms on YouTube. I nearly said Facebook then, because YouTube works on algorithms, which is why I try not to swear on the channel, because I'm not yet monetized. There is a link on my profile where you can go to donate to my GoFundMe account if you would like to, just to support the channel. I am trying to get a new camera because I'm using my phone at the moment, and a decent microphone because this is the only one that I've got. Who's next? Where? You go over to Regan Elite, L. That's where you're going next. So I can't do the linking thing that Graham does because I don't have the technology. So, but hope to see you on Thursday. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. I'm going to go and feed the cats now because they're banging on the door. Blessed be everybody. Mwah. Bye.